down, you paint it brown, you measure twice, you cut it once. It's just that easy. Hey folks, it's just that easy. Hey folks, it's just that easy. You mix it up, you fix it up, you do it yourself. He can turn your little shack into a first-class castle. Save you time and money and a great big hassle. Hey folks, it's just that easy. You mix it up, you fix it up, you sand it down, you paint it brown, you measure twice, you cut it once. It's just that easy.
Good morning. Welcome to the Ask Shell webcast. I'm Michael Gibson, General Manager of Shell Busey's House Smart Home Services. Off to the right, of course, is Shell Busey. And first, thank you again for being with us this morning. It is Sunday, January 27th, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So wherever you are, it's a couple hours different from there, I'm sure. And
hey, it could be further away than that. We have people listening in Australia right now.
Could be 20 hours.
That's right.
So we just so you know, during the show, we take questions from our House Smart Club members, which come in through our website. So if you're a club member, thank you for being a member, and we do appreciate your questions. If you're not a member, you should sign up. It's free, takes a few seconds, confidential, and it will allow you to send questions through to Shell that he can answer for you, and you may even see them on the webcast.
One of the things there, too, sorry for interrupting there, Mike. Folks, being a member of the club is really important. Our newsletter goes out once a month. Looking forward to down the road to being twice a month. But you can't believe the information that's coming out on the newsletter. I mean, we've got new products that are coming up, new products that we have right now in the trial state, new products that are in the trial state that are going to be made available through the industry. So if you have a friend that's not a member, or you're watching tonight or this afternoon or right now in the morning when the show is live here Sunday mornings, hey, get them involved. It's free, and you can't believe the information. It's like reading the newspaper on building products. It's just that easy, mate.
It is just that easy. I guess another comment, too, is Shell and I recently had a meeting with a colleague, and they're referencing a trade show and how some people at trade shows make money based on selling information of the people who attend. And we don't do that here. We keep your information 100% confidential. The only people that see your name, email, or phone number, if you provide that with us, is the people here in the office, and Shell included. So it's totally confidential. We will not send anything that you do not request, and you do get a monthly newsletter, which will be going out. It goes out mid-month, so check your email inboxes, and we hope you enjoy the newsletter, and also we hope you enjoy the webcast. So I guess we should get off to a couple emails right away.
You betcha. You betcha.
Okay, first question. We have concrete for the floor in the garage. We're raising the floor. Should we be putting anything on the concrete before we put the floor joists on? There will be a dead air space between the concrete and the floor. We're having radiant fireplace for heat. What is your recommendation? We're scared if we put anything, we will have condensation and then mold.
Well, it's something certainly be concerned about, Mike, and they're wanting to start off on the right foot. And starting a project of this nature really is important to start off in the right foot, because if not, everything will fall in behind. And I mean fall in behind being problems. So garage floors, folks, were originally placed or poured concrete to do exactly what they're there to do, and that is to be a garage floor. But having said that, there's lots of garages today that are developed and created for other purposes. But I want to address this in such a way it covers a whole lot of concerns. One being that where the cars drive into the garage, that's at the garage door opening, that is normally the lowest part of the garage floor, obviously for reasons that water will drain out. But keep in mind, if you don't do something with leveling the floor, then you're obviously going to run into a concern with water draining or at least something that has to be leveled, maybe a pool table or something that you end up putting in there that requires leveling, is going to be much more difficult in that immediate area. So there's a heads up for you right there. Number two item is very important, that where the garage door is located now, some people, because of restrictions and bylaws and zoning, will actually leave the old garage door there, and from the garage door being left in place, they will frame right over top of it, making it obviously out of sight, out of mind from the outside, for the outside curb appeal still is a garage door. So having the garage door built across in front of on the inside is going to require a little, what I like to relate to is a pony wall. And a little pony wall is a little concrete curb wall, if you want to call it that, because that is going to be the point that will bring up the level of the floor at that point where you should be leveling the concrete. Because if you don't level that concrete, I can assure you right now, you're not going to be happy with your floor. So there you go. Right off the bat, before you do anything, if you're going to do the average, usual way. I don't want to get into cutting the floor and going down, putting a proper footing in and all that sort of thing, because one day you may sell the home and that now becomes a garage again, so it'll all have to be tore out. So right now I'm suggesting the little curb wall or pony wall be formed up and placed in concrete to bring it up to the level of the average level of the garage floor. And you place that with concrete, and then that is your point that you build off of for your walls. And then your leveling of concrete using a leveling type of concrete mix like sand and cement and very fine aggregate, possibly even road mulch, that sort of thing, to give you a level which you can in turn now start from what Mike, reading the emails, indicated. You're interested in leveling the floor, or at least what do you put down prior to your flooring. And once you've got it to that point and it's leveled with the concrete mix, now you want to use a product called dimpled plastic, or a product called Delta FL. It's manufactured by Consella Dorkin. It's a product that's available at most of your major stores. And if you're in major centers across Canada or in the United States, you'll run into a company called Basement Systems, and they retail the product out to do-it-yourself customers, as well as make it available to the industry for you to go in and buy from building supply and box stores. So it's a dimpled plastic over top of which you can put laminate flooring. And putting laminate flooring over top of dimpled plastic, it's not even necessary to put any plastic or any plywood underlayment down, because it's structurally the product is a vapor barrier, and also it is a structured product that will maintain a level with laminate flooring on top. So that being the approach that I would be recommending in this particular scenario, and that's only one. I could go and give you a whole bunch. But that one, I think, is really what the information request was for in that email. So, Mike, there you have it.
Actually, one question, too, I have for this is, they're going to heat that area with a radiant fireplace. Mm-hmm. What would you suggest to heat that area with? Is that the proper?
A radiant fireplace. Keep in mind that radiant fireplaces or convection, they're normally dual efforts when you purchase a natural gas fireplace insert. So radiant and convection are two that features of a fireplace itself. You get into a Valor, for example, Valor fireplace. That particular product gives you both. Right. And it's also something that when you buy a fireplace, you want to always get the energy rating, because all fireplace inserts now are rated. So you want to get a high efficiency unit. And the Valor unit, for example, has got a modulating thermostat on it. And a modulating thermostat on it means that the fire will actually flame up to the point that it's quite obvious that it's on, and it looks quite nice. And then it'll actually shrink down to nothing once it meets its temperature that you have it set at. So some people want fire all the time. Some people want energy efficiency. So if you're buying efficiency, which you should be, that's why you buy natural gas fireplace inserts for heat. But if you're buying it for purposes of looks or giving you that ambience, then you could go for a lesser priced unit because that's all you really get is fire and very little energy in the form of heat or comfort. So that you got to be really on top of who you're buying it from as well, Mike.
Right. Make sure that they're also licensed to be installing gas appliances too.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Permits.
Of course. And on that note, we need to take our first break. So when we come back from our break, please stay with us. And we have a question from someone who has an issue with ice damming. And we'll be right back.
And now, Ask Shell, brought to you by Springs RV Resort, a proud member of Shell Buzzy's House Smart Home Services.
Folks, it has been 1 year since Frankie and I bought our own RV lot at the Springs RV Resort in Harrison Hot Springs. That's right, we bought our own lot, built a beautiful deck and gazebo, and have had a wonderful summer. Our kids and grandkids love how close we are. In less than an hour, they can make it out to visit us, splashing in the heated pool or relaxing by the fire. The Springs RV Resort is rated one of the top RV resorts in North America, and now we know why. The amenities are first class, from the spa-like bathrooms to the beautiful gardens. But don't wait till next summer to purchase or rent your own RV lot. The resort is over 70% sold, so right now is the time to buy. Folks, visit the Springs RV Resort in Harrison for a tour and ask about their special fall pricing, or visit online at springsrv.com.
Welcome back to the Ask Shell webcast. I'm Mike Gibson, General Manager of Shell Buzzy's House Smart Home Services. Thank you for being with us. And if you were tuned in before the break, you were noticing that we were answering emails from our House Smart Club members. And those are from people who have signed up for our House Smart Club for free. And these questions, if necessary, go to Shell, and he can use his expertise to answer them for you. So we hope you're enjoying the information that we're providing during the show. And we'll get right to another email from one of our House Smart Club members. Our house is 70 years old, and it's 1.5 stories with no attic except the enclosed area behind the knee walls. How do I prevent the ice damming, meaning heat loss, I believe, which is occurring in the cold weather? My roof does not keep snow on it, so obviously there's significant heat escaping through the roof. I've had it suggested that I need a flow of air between inner ceiling upstairs and the roof. I thought of removing the upstairs ceiling and adding vents to the roof line to create an airflow between the rafters. Then install some hard insulation board as my new ceiling. Will this work? Who can I ask in the Edmonton area to get some professional advice?
You bet. Well, they've already asked the person that is going to give you the advice, and that's me, Shell Buzzy. So once you get your email, because once you send an email, then the answer you get is what you're requesting. So therefore, the information you have, as far as the question, is a very good one, because there's a lot of older houses today that have livable space upstairs. But just before I go there, very quickly, I want to make reference to the viewing audience this week. And that is, folks, being a member of my club allows you to send me emails. And we've already indicated we don't share our emails, your email addresses, for purposes that we communicate with you and you communicate with us. That's it. That's all we're interested in. The reason why I even started my club was for one reason only, to maintain a comfortable resource of members in the form of club members. That way, I'm not getting thousands upon thousands of emails from people which would be physically impossible to answer in any event. This way, I know I have a bona fide group of people interested in one thing, and that is their home, which is very important to me, because that's why I'm here to take care of you. Now, with regards to an older home with knee walls. Now, knee walls happens to be if you're up in the roof cavity or up on the second level in an older home where you have walls on either side vertical and then you have a peaked or a very narrow ceiling, that is indicating that they have very simply dropped some vertical walls to form those flat walls that you can put furniture up against or whatever, and you're not going to be running into the roof sheeting in the event if you were to clad the inside of your rafters with the likes of drywall or plywood. Now, that particular wall, that's your vertical wall from your rafters down to your main floor area, that particular area normally is insulated very, very poorly. And in most cases, in fact, I would say all cases, there are doors of some type. Maybe a panel that you lift out. It may be a door that you open. In any event, there will be access out into that area with the sloped roof. And that's used for storage in most cases. That is the second worst insulated area in the older homes. So those areas, let's address those. Those are very important. First, make sure that you have got soffit venting. Soffit venting meaning that the under eave venting vents up into that area. Now, that area venting into the soffit, you really do require venting on the actual roof itself because you want to get those convection or air currents moving. That way you'll get rid of any moisture or any heat loss that has been lost out through electrical boxes or out through the access door or panel. So that way you want to measure the insulation area. That's the insulation that you can see as you walk in there underneath the floor that you're going to be walking on when you go out into that storage area. You want to measure that. And for every 200 square feet of that area, you want 1 square foot of venting. 12 inches by 12 inches, 144 square inches, of which half of that, 72 square inches, will be in the soffit or the under eave, and 72 square inches on the roof entering that cavity. That keeps the air moving. Any loss of heat, any loss of moisture that gets out in that area, you won't have melted snow and icicles hanging everywhere. Now for the wall, the vertical wall, you want to insulate that with good quality insulation bats like Roxol, or you can get the sound bats of fiberglass. I would not use any rigid insulation in that area. I would definitely use bat insulation, and the paint on the walls and the vertical walls over the years will be the vapor barrier, and also the duplex receptacles, your plugs, your switches, take the plates off and put foam insulation pads in behind. Now the rafter, that's the angled portion, that's the rafter of the roof. You want to line that with a product called reflective foil insulation. Reflective foil insulation. That way, now you've got the venting in the soffit, the venting in the roof, insulation on the underside of the angled portion, which is your roof, and bat insulation on the vertical wall. Now the door or the panel that you're going to be actively aggressing or at least accessing that particular area. So if it's a door, a swinging door, you want to put rigid foam on the back of the door, and then put weather stripping like you would on an exterior door entering to the outside of your home, and insulate it and weather strip it, and now you're final and you're finished. Do that on both sides, and now you have a good overall quality. The venting up top is really no concern. If there's any insulation up there, fine. If there's none, then obviously put your bat insulation, but otherwise you'll get the vent through from that area. In fact, some people will even put the roof venting, ridge venting along that particular area of the roof, and that's a good, better, best, a best way to do it as well. So there you have it. Mike?
Okay, shall we have time for one quick question before we go to our next break? Our house is 6 years old, and we're starting to get some moss buildup on our asphalt shingles. We don't have any trees around our house, but we do live in an area where there's a small mountain to the south of us that does restrict some of the sun that we get in the winter months. They do have zinc strips on the edges and the peak of the roof. Is there a way that they can clean the moss off themselves? One of her neighbors said that if they sprinkle laundry soap on the shingles, the soap will kill the moss. So what's your advice for them, Sean?
All right. Well, first of all, you hear the term Tide cleans, and Tide is the one that I've read many times, that the different types of detergent to use. And I say, no, do not use it. Incidentally, it's not the soap that does the product removal as far as the moss. It's the crystallized chlorine. I'm sorry, the bleach, the crystallized chlorine bleach that's in the actual soap itself. That's what kills the moss. So rather than doing that and ending up with a real streaky roof because of the soap suds that it will form, then I very simply say, take my cleaning formula. That's this one right here. A lot of people have no idea the amount of uses that this product here actually has. And if you buy this particular product and mix it up to the heavy-duty formula, which is right on the label, and put it into a watering can, and be careful up on the roof and water it over the roof like you would be watering grass or flowers, the crystallized chlorine quantity in the cleaning formula will kill the moss. It's just that easy, Mike.
Well, thanks, Shel. And I know it's a question that we get asked quite often, and they're probably better off waiting until the spring to do that, are they not? To clean the moss off the roof, or?
You don't want to be doing anything until such time as spring, and I always use spring as May 24th weekend as always a spring break. Otherwise, you never know. You're going to be into black ice up there. You could be into some very slippery algae. And, you know, I've got one saying, never go on a roof unless you're protected and safely guarded and also strung up with something in the form of a safety strap belt that you're not going to be falling off your roof, because I'll tell you right now, it's not the fall that hurts. It's the sudden stop at the bottom that really does become a problem. So be very, very careful up on the roof. And if you're not able to get up on the roof, then stay off it altogether. Send somebody younger, or at least have it done professionally.
Okay. On that note, we have to take another break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
And now Ask Shell, brought to you by West Coast Molding and Millwork, a proud member of Shell Buzzy's House Smart Home Services.
Folks, when people ask me who they should contact about a home finishing project, I always recommend West Coast Molding and Millwork. In the West Coast showroom, you'll see more home finishing options than you ever thought possible. West Coast has a huge inventory of moldings, but they also have stair components, including handrails, wood or metal spindles, and all the rail fittings to go with it. And with their own millwork shop, West Coast can match any molding or even build you a freestanding spiral staircase. If you're planning a reno or a new home project, make sure to have West Coast Molding on your team. The West Coast staff have years of experience and super product knowledge. Call West Coast Molding and Millwork at 604-513-1138 or visit westcoastmolding.com. It's just that easy, folks.
Welcome back to the Ask Shell webcast. I'm Mike Gibson, General Manager of Shell Buzzy's House Smart Home Services. Thank you for being with us this morning, or if you're watching after on our website, askshell.com. Could be anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch our webcasts right on our website or on YouTube. I want to make reference to an appearance that Shell's making next weekend. He is making an appearance at the Home Show in Penticton for the Canadian Home Builders Association South Okanagan Home Show. Saturday, February 2nd, the show runs from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. Shell is on stage at 11:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. The show also runs on the Sunday, February 3rd, from 10 till 5 p.m. He will not be there that day, but if you'd like to come out and see Shell, he'll be there for two appearances on the Saturday, 11:30 a.m. and also 2:30 p.m. And this is, I think, your second or third year doing the show.
Oh, gosh, it's got to be at least a third, if not possibly even the fourth. Or
Yeah,
I know I've been there off and on for many, many years, especially when I was doing the Power Smart program for BC Hydro.
Yeah, of course, of course. So if anyone wants to meet Shell, ask him a question, they can come by those days and those hours. Also, this information is on our website, so if you didn't have a chance to write it down, go to our website, askshell.com. On the bottom right-hand side, there's an area that has Shell's updated appearances, and you can find out where, when, all that kind of stuff right on our site. So I know Shell's looking forward to the show, and I hope if you're in the area, in the Penticton or South Okanagan area, you're able to make it out.
I'd like to add to that as well, Mike, if I may, that we are members of the Canadian Home Builders Association across Canada. And in Greater Vancouver, it's the Greater Vancouver Home Builders Association, which we're members, and also our company, Shell Busey's Home Improvements, which we do the job for you from start to finish, contracting, no matter if it's a bathroom, a kitchen design, siding, windows, doors, decks, all repairs and improvements to homes. And that is operated and run by Keith Araki. And Keith actually is the owner of that particular company, and you can get a hold of Keith by very simply going to our website, askshell.com. Right-hand corner of our homepage, you'll see Shell Busey Home Improvements. Click on there, and all the details of what Shell Busey Home Improvements do. So if you're in the Greater Vancouver, we're in the contracting business as well as the referral business.
Okay, on to our next question, Shell. We live in Edmonton and have a 10-year-old 2,000 square foot two-story home with an unfinished basement. We have a forced air furnace. Listening to you on the radio in the past, you always suggested running your furnace fan 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to improve air circulation. When I turn on the furnace fan switch in the main hall floorway, the main floor powder room exhaust ceiling fan also runs. Is this normal, or is this a wiring flaw?
Mike, it's certainly not a wiring concern. It is a system that they have designed for that particular home. Because of the design of the home, it requires exhausting of air at the point of the powder room on the main floor. It's a very good question, though, because a lot of people will eliminate using that dehumidistat because of the bathroom fan coming on. And guess what? It may be one of those very poor and very noisy exhaust fans. So therefore, the whole exhaust system is being jeopardized by one noisy fan. So when you have a furnace that has a switch on the thermostat for the fan, and you switch it on and the bathroom exhaust fan comes on, do not be alarmed, folks. That is all part of the air circulation system, which is good, better, best. Okay, so, but the air moving within the furnace itself is very important, 24/7, 365 days a year. And the cost of operating that, after you've operated it for, say, a couple of months and you get your first BC Hydro bill, if you're in BC or Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, or anywhere in North America or the world, actually, you are on demand payment, meaning that you pay for what you use. And once a couple of months rolls around, you'll see exactly what it costs to have that fan in your furnace operating, because it will be either an increase or possibly even a decrease in your bill. So having it run does a number of things. One, if you are in a climate that requires humidification, meaning moisture added to your home because of flooring, etc., or it may be that just because of health and nasal concerns, you want the comfort of extra moisture for furniture, hardwood flooring, all that, moisture on windows, all that sort of thing you can control. But you want to control it with the fan running, because otherwise, if you've got a humidifier on your furnace and there's no fan running, you're not humidifying anything. Okay, you're just absolutely spinning wheels, but the wheels only when the heat is on demand, meaning when the thermostat gets its control point, the fan comes on with the furnace when the burner is up and operating. But that's only when you get that feature. The same with your filters. There's people who go out and they buy high-quality furnace filters, and they might even go into electronic, electrostatic, all these different types of filtration. But, you know, they don't work if you don't have air flowing through them. So unless you got the fan in your blower, in their furnace operational, and giving you that circulation within the home, not only are you going to have cold spots, not only are you going to have your furnace system become deficient, but you're also going to lose out on the humidifier component being operative and also the filtration being operative. So very, very important to leave it as is. If the fan that you have that comes on with the fan switch on the thermostat is noisy, then I would suggest change the exhaust fan in your bathroom, because you can get much quieter units today. In fact, under 1 zone, and 1 zone is a measurement of sound. Okay, it's just that easy, folks. Mike?
Yeah, and also I should note that on our website, there's a chart that's readily available for you that shows you what humidity level you should keep your home at based on the exterior temperature. So if you just type moisture levels in home in the search area, that will help you too, which Shell alluded to, maintaining humidity levels with using your furnace circulating the air 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So please feel free to search through our website. We have over 1,500 Q&As and tips that will help you around your home. And on that note, we need to take another break. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back.
And now Ask Shell, brought to you by 21st Century Roofers, a proud member of Shell Buzzy's House Smart Home Services.
Folks, there are a lot of different roofing options these days, and I'm always being asked what type of roof is the best. If you're considering asphalt shingles, fiberglass laminate shingles, metal roofing, or SBS torch-on roofing, you should talk to Andrew at 21st Century Roofers. They've been in business since 1978, and for good reason. With top-notch products, craftsmanship, and service, 21st Century Roofers work hard every day to earn and maintain their reputation. 21st Century Roofers are a Master Elite Certified GAF installer, and they're a local company with thousands of satisfied customers. Call 21st Century Roofers at 604-581-1666. That's 604-581-1666. It's just that easy.
Welcome back to the Ask Shell webcast. Thank you for being with us this morning if you're watching it live or whenever you're watching it on the internet, right on askshell.com. A couple of things I'd like to bring to your attention is that we're very active here at Shell Buzzy's House Smart in different social media websites and networking functions and those sorts of things. So if you're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, find us there, follow us. You'll get up-to-date information right from us, right to your smartphone or iPad or BlackBerry or iPhone actually as well, which I'm sure many of you have. So please find us on those websites. If you search for Shell Buzzy, SHELLBUSEY, not B-U-Z-Z-Y or B-U-Z-E-Y.
I-E or some of the 36 ways.
Yeah, we should get domains for all those different ways just to make sure. We're buying them daily all
I'd
day.
have to have a domain controller around here.
We would. So just feel free to find us on there. Follow us, add us as a friend, let your friends know. It's a great way to keep up to date with what we have going on here as well. So we hope to see you on the social networking websites very soon. So Shell, we'll get off to our next question here. We have dark wood laminate flooring. Whenever anyone comes into our home, the moisture in their socks leaves an imprint on the floor. Do you have any ideas as to how we can minimize the marking on the floor?
You bet. And first, let it be known that this is not an uncommon scenario. Dark flooring shows every mark. In fact, I can recall when dark flooring came into the marketplace about 5 years ago, that it really kind of struck out at first because it showed every particle of dust. And then it came to the point that the decorators, designers were really leaning towards the dark because of the character that they were able to present in the laminate flooring and the engineered flooring, and also the real wood flooring, that they could scrape it and they could give all these different character marks on the flooring to make it much more what would you say, presentable or that decorative feature within the room. But I just want to give you a heads up. The darker the floor, the more dust you will find. And I haven't yet run into anybody that likes dusting and vacuuming other than my son-in-law. And but he owes up to it because it does happen, and it is a big job. But anyway, leaving that aside, and that was meant to be a joke. But anyway, sock marks. Out of shoes with wool-based socks or nylon socks, your feet are going to be damp on the bottom just because of the soles and the way that the structure of the shoes. And that wet foot is going to show a mark on the floor. To put a finish on the floor to eliminate that is not a product that's going to be easy to find. In fact, I dare say that it's likely not even out there able to find. And the reason for that, because it's just it's a problem that is a non-solvable problem, because some people have damp feet, some people don't. Some people wear different stockings and socks. Some have absorbent feet, or at least the feet component, the underside of the foot on the socks. I always suggest to you, always have, even if it is those very inexpensive slip-ons that you see movers and carpet installers. In fact, even our home improvement people, carpenters, will wear them over their shoes. But they're floor protectors, and you just pull them on. They're just something very simple. Or like I have at the front door, or the back door, or the garage door. Wherever I went out, I come back in, and if I go out the front door, and then I'll come back in the front door. But anyway, I slip on my slippers, because there's no use of trying to eliminate, because who is going to be that excited about doing whatever to a floor every time you walk across it with your stockings or your socks from your damp socks or from your damp shoes? So I don't know of anybody that there is a Swiffer out there, the Swifter, I think they're called, that will do it as well. But I don't know if too many people want to pick that up every time. Well, maybe my wife would, because she is one that's a very, very, what would you say, neat person. And sometimes I'm a neat freak as well. And but having said all that, before I get into trouble, get yourself some of those slip-ons or a pair of slippers. Forget about putting some form of a wax or sealer or something on there, because it's not going to work. If it was out there, I would know about it. It's just that easy, Mike.
Well, thank you very much for that answer, Shell. And I guess sometimes it's the obvious answer that's the easiest.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, next question. When we redid our bathroom 5 years ago, we installed a water relief valve inside the wall behind the bathroom taps. We did this so that if you're having a shower and someone turns on a tap, you will not get burned. A few months ago, we bought a new water-efficient washer. It adds water slowly and in spurts, and every time the washer adds water, the valve behind the wall thumps. Should I be concerned that at some point this valve may malfunction and create a problem?
You have got a situation there that, first of all, it's not going to be a leaking problem, but it's definitely going to give you the concern that you have, and that is the thump. I would like to give a heads up on this one here as well, that if you're going to be putting in a water relief valve, and the water relief valve basically is a water temperature protector, and what it basically does is once the water gets so hot, then it'll shut it off altogether. So therefore, if you're in the shower, you can push it and release it. If you are not using the shower, then that release valve is sitting there with the water flowing through it. And keep in mind that it's on the water supply line of temperature, and the temperature is coming from, obviously, the hot water. What I would be concerned about, very likely, and that is that the water that you're using in your washing machine, if you're expecting it to be using hot water, it very likely is not. It's only getting a fill of cold water once you hear that thump. And the reason for that, because the hot water is flowing through as well as the cold water, but the hot water, as soon as it meets the temperature of the release valve, it shuts off. So therefore, the rest of the fill of your washer, which will become now slower because you only got one feed, will be cold. So a lot of people wash in cold water wash. A lot of detergents today are cold water wash detergents, and you may never, ever know one way or the other than if you were to test it and check it when you have your fill of water and the washing machine is started. Maybe open it up and check it out. But that is like a siphoning that is taking place within the system. And it just becomes a pretty aggravating thing, especially if you're wanting hot water in that wash tub in your washing machine. And the heads up that I'd like to give you there, I hope you did put a test panel, or at least a panel that you can investigate this sort of thing or make any adjustments where you have the release valve in the wall. There should be a panel that can be removed so you can get in there and not leave it for the next homeowner that may purchase your home, and that being in behind the drywall within the room or within a hallway, because those are hard things to find if you don't know they're there. So putting in an inspection panel would be very much an egress offering to new owners, as well as yourself if you ever have to do anything about changing it or correcting it. It's just that easy. Mike?
Okay, we have to take another break, and when we come back, we have a really interesting question about somebody who wants to install a bed in their son's room using it floating from the ceiling somehow. So
Somebody wants a hammock.
they do. So we'll come back, and we'll be back in a minute with that question and answer for you. So please stay with us.
And now Ask Shell, brought to you by Serpentine Cedar Roofing, a proud member of Shell Buzzy's House Smart Home Services.
Tony Weens from Serpentine Cedar Roofing is often asked why Serpentine is so unique in the roofing business. Tony tells people that for over 30 years, their family has operated their own cedar shake mill and produced only the highest quality cedar roofing shakes. And folks, Serpentine don't cut down any trees to produce their roofing shakes. You heard right. They use only recovered, old-growth western red cedar salvaged from windfalls on the BC coast. A Serpentine cedar roof is the real deal. Their experienced crew can expertly install your new roof, replace or repair your existing roof, or help you with any of your roofing needs. To arrange a free estimate, visit Serpentine Cedar Roofing online at cedaristherealdeal.com. That's cedaristherealdeal.com.
Welcome back to the show, to the Ask Shell webcast. Thank you for being with us again this morning or whenever you're watching the show. We have a quick update from one of our HouseSmart Referral Network members, Just Flooring, who's a flooring company, full service installation sales in the Vancouver area, Greater Vancouver, has actually moved. They were on Lillooet Ave in Vancouver, and they're now on Bridgeport Road in Richmond. And their new address is 12100 Bridgeport Road in Richmond, which isn't too far from the airport if you're familiar with the Richmond area or lower mainland of Vancouver. Also, they still have a location open at 24th Avenue and King George Boulevard, almost in White Rock. So we call it White Rock or South Surrey. It's just a kitty corner to our office. So if you are a Just Flooring customer, they are no longer on Lillooet Avenue. They're on Richmond Avenue in Richmond. So please look at our website if you'd like to confirm those addresses. If you just type in Just Flooring in the search area, it will come up with their address, website, phone number, all that kind of stuff, so you can reach them for any of your flooring needs.
Hey, the one thing I'd like to add there as well, Just Flooring is owned and operated by Mr. and Mrs. Friend. And his name is Ron, so Ron Friend. But Ron, the reason why I bring it up, he is one of the best, and as I always say, good, better, best, he is one of the best carpet stretchers as well as vinyl floor repair and carpet repair. So if you ever have a problem where your carpet's got loose and requires restretching, Just Flooring is the company to give a call.
Okay, thank you, Shell. So we have another question here from one of our HouseSmart Club members. My basement utility room has been painted previously. How can I remove the paint as I would like to put floor tile in the room? Note, the existing paint is peeling very badly.
Well, that's one that you will very likely find, I would say, on every home that's 20 years of age or older, if it's a painted concrete floor. And the reason why I say that is concrete is painted with alkaline resistant paint very seldom. And I mean that as an experienced person involved in this building and do-it-yourself industry for many, many years. Concrete with the alkaline, and alkaline being in the cement that forms the concrete that the floor is produced from. If you put an oil-based porch and floor paint, which incidentally 20 years plus ago, that's all they used, and that actually formed like a vapor barrier on top of the concrete, and any moisture that would come up through the concrete in the form of wicking would come up on the underside of the paint. What would happen? The paint would blister, it would obviously crack, and then your next sign of anything happening would be a white powder coming out of where the paint has failed. And that's the alkaline coming from the concrete. Efflorescence is one of the items that we make reference to, the white powder, efflorescence. And to paint a floor that we know has got efflorescence or alkaline concerns, then there's absolutely no use of trying to correct it, especially when the floor has been painted, unless you do one thing, and that is sand the floor with a pad sander or a belt sander, meaning you pad sand all that paint off. And believe you me, folks, if there's a person in the house that's a neat freak, meaning you don't like dust, then you don't start sanding concrete, because you're going to have dust. And you know where the laundry room normally is located, very close to where the furnace is located. And if it's an old furnace, you get dust throughout the house, yada, yada, yada. So my suggestion to you would be very simply scrape the floor with a wide paint scraper, vacuum that up, and then go over top of the floor using the dimpled plastic, which I mentioned earlier in this program, the dimpled plastic, allowing you to put down on top of that plywood, fastening that through the plywood, through the dimpled plastic, into the concrete with the item of fixing fasteners that they make and provide for that application. And then on top of that, you go with your vinyl flooring or your tiles or whatever it is that you may want to go with. But don't try to paint it and end up with a successful floor. It just doesn't work. It'll be back to you. If you want to make it look good for a month or something like that, fine, but not something that's going to be there for a long time. A lot of people will just take the move and put carpet down, and let any moisture that comes up through the concrete, let the carpet do the breathing and venting, and then you exhaust it through your system in the home, your exhaust vents and your bathroom ceiling, etc. But I know a lot of people don't like carpet in bathrooms, but there is carpet that you can use in bathrooms. And sure, you have to be a little cautious with little ones around, but hey, they all learn, and we've all made the mistakes when it comes to piddling on the floor. But on the other hand, keep in mind, he who makes no mistakes does nothing. So we're not all perfect that way. So there's your choices, and but painting, it's out. Mike?
On to the next question, which we alluded to before the last break, regarding the loft bed in their son's room.
Oh, gee.
So this is an interesting one. So we have to break this into two segments because we do have to take a break. So if we can't finish it this segment, we'll come back.
Why don't we take a
next.
break now? We're on the internet. We can do anything we want. So
I think we can.
Yeah.
So take a break, and we'll be right back in a minute with the question of the day, I'd say.
Folks, what is HouseSmart? Well, it's 10 years of experience putting a program together that has really worked for you, the homeowner. It's free for your use. We charge the trade, and there's no upcharge whatsoever to you, the homeowner. Also, they're certified. We certify them. We make sure, good, better, best, they are the best, because they're right there with me on their shoulder. My brand, folks, you can be assured that you're going to get the job done right.
Hi, Shell Busey here for my Shell Buzzy's Home Improvements. Right now is a perfect time to talk with our full-service home renovation department. They're the experts with kitchen and bathroom designs and renovations, additions, basement suites, and all exterior repairs. Projects big or small, folks, we do them all. Folks, my name, Shell Busey, assures you the job is being done right. Call us at 604-542-2236 or online, askshell.com.
And welcome back to the Ask Shell webcast. We'll jump right back into this question because it might take us the remainder of the show to answer it. So I'll start for Shell here. I want to put in a loft bed in my son's room to maximize space because the room is small. It has 9-foot ceilings so we can go high and he can have a play center below. I've looked into purchasing beds locally, but they're either bulky, low, too large, or really bland in design. I've seen some great designs from all over Europe on suspending or floating the bed from the ceiling as they are to use smaller spaces and maximize the space they have available to them. What do I need to know about this, i.e. ceiling and wall support / design? Where should we start? Some think I'm nuts to do this, but I think it can be done. I'm just not sure what I have to figure out before I can start.
Oh, by golly, I'll tell you. See that, folks? We get all kinds of questions here on this webcast from our members, and we love them because I consider myself a fairly creative guy. I don't think I have had a question on the 30 years that I've been on radio that I've ever had a question that I haven't been able to answer. So even though the answer may sound creative, maybe it sounds far-fetched, but on the other hand, it is fact that it came from the thought being put into it before I make reference to it. So here we go. Here's what we got. Okay, I'm simply showing you what we've got here. And what we've got is a main floor here. We've got a basement here. This is ground level. Up here in the attic, you can see we have a very narrow area that is being the ceiling. Okay, that's the ceiling. And you can see here I put 9 foot. It's a 9-foot ceiling. Now, this is where they want to put the bed or the cot or the, well, I guess you could almost call it a hanging bed. I know they have them in Europe because I've seen pictures of them myself. So what do you do? Well, let me do a little drawing here, and then I'll come back and I'll explain it to you. Because all you really have to find is a good, secure point, and also one that you feel that structurally speaking, that sure you could go to an engineer and say, is this going to be all right? And the engineer would like to say, well, how much is the body weight and all that sort of thing, and what size is this and what size is that? But you know, folks, we're talking about a very common approach to hanging, no matter if it's a water heater on a wall or on a ceiling. You're dealing with a structure, and a rafter is structured to carry roof snow load. A collar tie is designed in order to keep the rafters together and protect the actual weight load on the outside or on the surface of the roof. What you put in there in the form of a bed would be like you worrying about bringing a new refrigerator in on top of a floor in a new home, wondering if it's going to be too heavy. They're all designed to carry those weights. For an example, I weigh 260 pounds in that neighborhood. If I was to come in on top of a floor that was ceramic and was to jump up off the floor about a foot and come down on my heels, I could very well likely deflect enough in the floor to break a tile, a ceramic tile, for example, or to at least break the grout line. But to collapse the floor or dismantle anything structurally or to cause any structural damage in the home, no, it would not happen. So really what you do with a bit of lumber and the weight of a mattress and a body on the average weight, it's not going to be anything. You'll be able to sleep there and swing back and forth and do your thing. So I'll show you again here what I'm going to do and what we'll come up with, and then you can take it from there as to how you want to address the character, the creativity, and I would be more inclined to worry about children playing underneath it, especially if somebody's sleeping, because if it ever got swinging and hit somebody in the head, you might find, well, I shouldn't say that because not all children are that rough. And this may be a teenager that's going to be very, very excited about their new boudoir or boutique bedroom or something like that. But anyway, here we are. Put this up there again so you can see it. And we'll reach it up here to where our producer here is saying up, 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 up. And there we go. He's saying that's okay. You can see what I've done here. Right here is a chain. And that chain comes from a collar tie. That's a collar tie across. That's your flat ceiling. And then we have a chain coming off a rafter. And that's into a good solid structure rafter. And I would use 1 inch link chain. And coming down onto a eye bolt, and that eye bolt would be forming and retaining the frame for the mattress. And now this here, if you were to move it, it would swing back and forth, okay, if that be the approach that you want to take. But you've got storage underneath. You've got the support as far as the chains and the hanging of the bed from the structure of the home. And you know what? Quite unique, to say the least. And I have seen them. But the other thing you can do is you take you know what an S-hook is. An S-hook is like that. There's an S-hook. And the S-hook, if you want to lift it up out of the way, you can lift it up from, can you see it there? From there, you can take and lift up and put the S-hook and hang it up higher. Or if you have a longer chain, you can drop it down lower to make the bed and then hook it back up again. So you can keep lifting it or dropping it, whatever you want. And then you put in the mattress, and the mattress can be a foam mattress, a foamy, like you'd get, say, in a bunk bed, or you could put in one of the spring-filled mattresses. But really, the main thing, and I think the question is, what about the structure? And the structure itself of the home, your main hanging points and your weight points is the collar tie or the rafter. And you're not going to have any problem there whatsoever. So be creative, have fun, and happy swinging and happy snoring. It's just that easy, folks. Mike?
You know what we'll do, Shel? We'll take that picture that you drew there, and we'll scan it and post it on the website.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yep. Yeah,
All
so
right.
we'll keep that handy, and we'll make sure you're going to sign it and date it.
I'll just put bed.
It'll be a collector's item.
There you go.
Okay, we have time for one more question before the end of the show. Person starts with, it's nice to hear about the new thermostats, but I can't get anyone to tell me what type I should use. I have two 110-volt baseboard heaters with 24-volt milliamp, two-wire mercury thermostats. All the 24-volt digitals say not for baseboard heaters. What type should I be looking for? Also, others have an adjustable knob on the baseboard heater. Can I change them to wall-mounted digital thermostats?
Okay, yes, all means you can convert any wall thermostat, be it manual on the wall or manual on the actual baseboard itself. You can disconnect the baseboard unit and connect it to a wall thermostat. And my suggestion, if you're going to go to wall thermostats, make sure that you do get the digitalized electronic thermostats, because they are the ones that are much more accurate and much more energy efficient. As far as baseboard heaters of the old strip type, the ones with the fins on the inside, always make sure you take the front panel off and vacuum those. Make sure they're always clean. Otherwise, the efficiency level goes way down. If you've got the old wired with the mercury container or the bimetal strip on the inside, going electronic with the digital, you get rid of all that, and also the accuracy will follow in behind. And you'll save up to about 30% of the energy used dollars on demand. But the thermostat versus the baseboard heater. The baseboard heater, if you go the next step of efficiency, not only from the digitalized thermostat, but also go to the convect air type of wall heater, which are electronic controlled electric heaters that are very energy efficient. So there you have it. Convect air, number one. Number two, the electronic thermostats for conversion. And number three, you can take the thermostats off the baseboard and convert that by removing those and putting wall thermostats in, being electronic. It's just that easy, Mike.
Now, I guess as a comment to that too, I remember this question when it came in, because I spoke to Monica about it before it went up to you. And most thermostats, when you're in the store, on the back indicate what system they work for as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you certainly, if you do your due diligence, when you're buying thermostats, they're either for electric heaters or they're for forced air, or they're for possibly, it'll even make reference to your different heat pumps and also geothermal. There's all kinds of thermostats, but for electronic purposes, for electric furnaces, electric heat pumps, and certainly getting into conversion baseboard, they say right on their baseboard.
Right.
Single pole, or you can get them in 110 in some instances and 220 volt in others.
Right. And on that note, we're out of time for the week. So
Golly!
That 1 hour went by really fast.
Well, it's good times always go fast, it seems, and it's been fun.
So I want to thank everybody for being with us again this week. We look forward to our show next Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right on our website, askshell.com. If you'd like to view the show again, just visit our website. It's replaying on the right-hand side. Just click play. You can pause it, rewind it, fast forward it, forward the link to your friends to watch the show. Watch it whenever you like. So it's at your leisure. You can watch the program. And if you're not a member, I'd like to remind you that you can sign up. It's free. It takes just a minute or two to send your questions through to Shell for him to answer. So I'd like to turn it over to Shell, and he can close out the show for us today.
Well, thanks very much, Mike, and thank you, folks, for being with us today on the webcast, AskShell.com. Keep in mind, my website is AskShell.com. You may be already addressing it to the HouseSmart.com. Doesn't matter. You can go to shellbuzzy.com. It'll all come in to the same place, the same website, askshell.com. It's just that easy. So, folks, again, thank you so much. I hope everything's going great in the new year for you. And until next week, producer Jim, and certainly the manager here, Michael, and myself, Shell Buzzy, say take care. Have a good one. Love you all. Bye-bye for now.
Hey folks, it's just that easy. Hey folks, it's just that easy. You mix it up, you fix it up, you do it yourself. He can turn your little shack into a first-class castle. Save you time and money and a great big hassle. Hey folks, it's just that easy. You mix it up, you fix it up, you sand it down, you paint it brown, you measure twice, you cut it once. It's just that easy.